Times now, Super Prime Time.
Is it pragmatic or is it political? Ladies and gentlemen, as I throw open the debate and say good evening to our guests on the panel this evening, we are given to understand that the meat owners, meat sellers are mulling a strike in Uttar Pradesh. So if there is a crackdown on Tunde go off the shelves, the meat sellers go on strike. If there is a crackdown on Romeos, will Gunde go off the streets? Will they take a strike? And will they vacate the streets of Uttar Pradesh? If that happens, then it's welcome. On that light note, I'm going to say good evening to our guests and let's dive into the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, GVL Narasimha Rao, Ratan Sharda, Rahul Ishwar, Tariq Siddiqui, Devashish Jararia, Syed Asim Wakar and Sabah Naqvi. Sabah Naqvi, let me start with you. Why are these guys panicking if their businesses are legal?
So, if you'd allow, give me 2 minutes, Anand. It's not about kebab, and neither is it about gundas. It's about jobs and livelihoods. And I will, after this program, make a list of many industrial areas all over India of various industries, where industry operates in a way where you can get a pollution certificate for 1 year, you can get a violation on that year. So it seems to me now, let's be honest, a decision has been taken to shut down slaughterhouses, which have a huge amount of export earnings they bring into India. Half the meat export of India is the slaughterhouses, highly mechanized slaughterhouses are located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Besides that, there are meat vendors who, I'm sure you've read the news, they have been attacked, meat shops. So it creates a climate of uncertainty. If the government is so committed to pollution control, and I'm sure they are, everybody should be committed to pollution control, they should come out, since they are Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, with a plan to rehabilitate the lakhs of people who are going to be rendered unemployed. So that is the simple fact.
Whether or not,
it's not about gundas, it's got nothing really to do with kebabs, it's about the slaughterhouse, it's about jobs.
Yes, I know. The kebab is a metaphor, is a reference point to these slaughterhouses and the larger issue altogether. And that's why we've called it the kebab cauldron. But Sabah Naqvi, the other question that I want to understand is, how is it that these lakhs and lakhs of people who are engaged in a domestic business, how is that going to affect the export business? Secondly, if they were engaged in a business and they were thriving and earning money in an unaccounted for, uncontrolled, unbridled business, which is absolutely unorganized and disorganized, who's losing? Who is losing and was everything above board and who allowed that? So those are all matters that should... Those are all matters that need to be debated.
So should I answer that, Anand?
Yes,
should I answer? Yeah, of course we should debate that. We should very well debate how so much of our economy is in the informal sector. We can debate all. Uttar Pradesh is a state where full of little manufacturing, artisanry. It's all in the informal sector. I think economists have chronicled all of this. That is how it is right now. Now, if you've decided to change everything, I would appeal to the government of Uttar Pradesh to give time to people to respond. And small meat shop owners combined with the big abattoirs, we're talking about lots and lots of jobs. There is a climate of fear. Who is going to supply them?
Well, who's stoking the fear? If they have done nothing wrong, why should they be afraid? Let's open up the debate. Sabah, this is a Sunday edition. Sabah is a Sunday edition, so I have limited time, and I have a lot of panelists who want to make their voices heard. So allow me this, please. We'll have to keep it crisper to the panelists. GVL Narasimha, let's start with you, and then Ratan Sharda, Tariq Siddiqui, and Devashish. Coming across to all of you gentlemen. First, GVL, yes.
Yeah, Anand, strangely in our country, no questions are asked when illegality is perpetuated and court orders are not followed. But some government wants to follow the court orders or NGT or Grain Tribunal's order, it becomes a big political mandate. I think the same logic given by Sabah Naqvi can be extended to criminal gangs and mafia, abduction rackets. There is also a lot of employment happening there. A lot of them will claim if you strike down, if you really stop all crime in Uttar Pradesh, where do we go for employment? I think should the government allow these abduction rackets and criminal mafia and gangsters to go on because their livelihood is involved? I think it's as ridiculous as that.
You're being unfair. To equate kebabs and slaughterhouses to criminals and gundas and nefarious activities is perhaps is being unfair.
No,
to draw parallels.
And kebabs, there is no ban on kebabs. There is no illegality about running kebab houses, eateries. But if they are having a difficulty for a few days in procuring illegally sourced raw material, that cannot become a reason for not striking down, not acting against illegal slaughterhouses.
So bear with the inconvenience for a few days. GVL Narasimha Rao, your opening comment. I would like you to rethink the comparison, the metaphor that you drew, because that perhaps is a little unfair to these people who are making an honest livelihood.
There is a lot of employment there as well.
No, maybe the businesses might not be legal.
There is a lot of employment. Livelihoods are involved there also.
Yeah, there are. But there are livelihoods involved even in cottage industry, like Sabha Naqvi said. There are disorganized industries like the Viva business also, which are also largely unorganized.
It does sound like a stretch, but then that's real.
So the allegation...
There are criminal gangs.
Okay, so you are attaching a different motive, saying that there is a mafia that controls this business and perhaps there could be crime involved. That's the extended argument that GVL Narasimha Rao is making. Let's get another counterpoint of view before I go to Ratan Sharda and Rahul Ishwar. Yes, Devashish Jararia.
Sir, actually, I don't know why every time BJP makes a policy, it goes into some controversy. Either these people are very innocent or either these are very cunning people.
Or the opposition loves to make a controversy out of everything they do. That's also an argument.
Actually, I want to make a comment. Answering this question, I would like to say that wild animals has a proper answer for this question. Even in BJP's Raj, शेरों ने भी भूख हड़ताल कर दी है.
वो
आज शेर भी भूख हड़ताल पे चले गए.
शेर भूख हड़ताल. देखिए मैं एक बात बताऊं, उसमें से एक दो इक्का दुक्का जो आर्टिकल निकले थे वो तो सटारिकल थे, उसको आपने सीरियसली ले लिया. अब दूसरी बात है शेरों को सिर्फ मांस नहीं दिया जाता, ये भी आप जानते हैं. उनको वेजिटेबल्स भी दिए जाते हैं. अब जब वो वेजिटेबल खा रहे थे, जिन्होंने फोटो लिया उन्होंने देखो अब ये सिर्फ सब्जियां खा रहा है, आपने उसको स्टोरी बना दी. ये भी तो फेयर नहीं है.
That's what I'm saying ना. That's what I'm saying कि अगर शेर अगर कहते मीट मांगते हैं तो उनको क्या कहते हैं, आप चाहे बोल दो एंटी मोदी, एंटी योगी या फिर क्या कहते हैं एंटी बीजेपी.
ठीक है, so I have आप बताइए. If a tiger decides to have bindi because the bindi is part of the meal along with the other meat that it's given, so you can't blame the tiger for it, and you can't blame Yogi Adityanath for it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. See, I have some 2-3 points to make on this.
Yeah.
See, the debate of legal and illegal slaughterhouse is malicious. Actually, the debate should be organized and unorganized slaughterhouses. Because if you see that in India there are large section of the employment which is in unorganized sector.
Correct.
And who are these people?
I think don't.
That is the debate. That is the debate. You are cracking. The cracking is on the small vendors, a small center. Okay, sir.
Change the narrative.
With that, I am saying that street foods, retail shops are also illegal. If you are going with the norms, these sectors are also illegal. All the labor houses, they are not following these norms. They are also illegal.
Yes, see, these arguments can be made, like we say in Mumbai. Every time a new civic body or somebody else takes control, there is a crackdown and all the street sellers are all off the streets for about a week. Then they're all back on. So those are all businesses which are illegal. That's an argument that Devashish Jararia is making that can happen in Uttar Pradesh. So while you crack down on all illegal businesses, why pick up only the meat shops and only the slaughterhouse? Rahul Ishwar. Ratan Sharda after this, sir. Yes, Rahul Ishwar. Is that the right way to look at things? Or should we say that these are livestock involved?
Either you can choose to be politically correct. Anand, let us be honest about this. Either we can be politically correct or we can be politically honest. The elephant in the room is that there is a cultural perspective. I am a proud right-winger, but I am with Sabha Naqvi's inhibition on these. Many among our minority brothers, many among our so-called secular people are afraid that whether there is a cultural agenda behind this. It is, the responsibility of the government to convince them that there is nothing dangerous, it is only cracking on illegal things, and along with that, there is a huge issue with livestock which is involved. India is very touchy. We were a pastoral society. We were a very agricultural kind of society. So we are very touchy about cow. We are very touchy about beef. We are very touchy about our buffaloes. So there is a bigger cultural question also involved. That's the elephant in the room. You can choose to ignore and only debate on illegality, but the more real point that everybody has in mind and everybody knows and nobody wants to address is the cultural question. I believe some kind of a consensus should be made in the cultural question, and we all know that there is diversity of food habits. But having said that, it should be done according to the cultural sensitivities of a billion people should be respected.
No, the fact is that as meat exports have been phenomenal and Uttar Pradesh contributes, phenomenal 26,000 crores is what the Uttar Pradesh contribution has been. The other aspect, Ratan Sharda, is that the number of livestock has not dwindled. Buffalo and cow, the numbers have also gone up. That's also another truth. So what is being practiced here? Is this a legitimate crackdown on illegal businesses?
Right.
Or is it an what you say, a convoluted implementation of a Sankalp Patra?
Anand, let me first start by Anand by saying that a controversy a month keeps Modi away. That is the thinking that left liberals, seculars have developed over last 3 years. It has not worked, but they will keep on doing it. They will crank up any controversy. It is not Adityanath who created a controversy. It's the people who call themselves secular who created a controversy. Let us say what D. Raja says. He says this is Hindutva project. He forgets huge number of Hindus are also non-vegetarian. Yes. How can that be concept of Hindutva? If legality and illegality becomes a Hindutva project, let it be Hindutva project. I agree with Sabha that maybe these poor people could have been some time, but to say that these illegal trades give a lot of employment, I would not be as harsh as saying that child trafficking gives a lot of employment, women trafficking a lot of employment. But let us say talk of ban on alcohol in Bihar. So when alcohol is banned, people who drink alcohol will cry. They will also speak of unemployment. This is not the right argument. The government is trying to bring this informal sector into formal sector. All these efforts for last 2 to 3 years are there. You can say why not more? Yes, there could be more, but you cannot say why this. It has to be there. We have to crack down on illegal issues, whether it's slaughterhouse, whether it's illegal trade, whether it's pani puri wala. But you cannot be doing it all at one go. Next will take the view.
The other thing is कि बहुत सारे लोगों ने जिन्होंने अपने शटर बंद किए, दुकानें बंद किए, शायद आसिम वकार, जिन्होंने whoever have stopped their businesses, उनको कोई नोटिस नहीं गया, उन पे कोई रेड नहीं पड़ी. This is also fear कि कहीं उन पे छापा पड़ गया तो क्या होगा?
Support illegal trade.
जब थर्सडे को हमने कबाब बंदी पे डिबेट किया था, आपने 2-3 बहुत ही अच्छे मुद्दे उठाए थे. एक आपने कहा कि जो लोकल सिविक बॉडीज है उन्होंने भी ये इन अवैध धंधों को पनपने दिया, उनको बढ़ने दिया. आपने कहा कि समाजवादी पार्टी की भी गलती है और बीजेपी की भी गलती है. आज आप उसको आगे ले जाएंगे? विल यू टेक द आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉरवर्ड?
सर, मैं IICD हूँ. मैं हमेशा से सामाजिक मुद्दों को उठाने के लिए ही जाना जाता हूँ. ना तो मैं कभी किसी के लिए क्रिमिनल भाषा का इस्तेमाल करता हूँ, ना मैं अपने लिए बर्दाश्त करता हूँ. मैं सिर्फ ये चाहता हूँ कि जो मैं कहने जा रहा हूँ उसको सुकून से समझें, उसका अर्थ समझें, और जो ओरिजिनल विक्टिम है जिसकी वजह से ये हो रहा है उससे सवाल जवाब किए जाएं. हमारे बराबर हम समाजवादी पार्टी से मैं प्रवक्ता जनाब बैठे हैं. 30/7/2015 मैं डेट ले रहा हूं. 30/7/2015 को उत्तर प्रदेश पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड की तरफ से नगर निगम लखनऊ के नगर आयुक्त को एक खत लिखा जाता है और उसमें लिखकर यह दिया जाता है कि 22/8/2013 को स्लॉटर हाउस को बंद करने का आदेश जारी हो चुका है. अब अंदाजा लगाइएगा, 2013 का बंदी आदेश 2015 में बताया जा रहा है नगर निगम को 2 साल बाद. और क्यों बंद किया है? कि इसको आधुनिक करना है. इसके लिए 23 करोड़ 43 लाख रुपए गवर्नमेंट ने स्वीकार किए हैं इसको आधुनिक बनाने के लिए. 2 साल के बाद उन्होंने नगर निगम को बताया और इसका रिन्यूअल बंद कर दिया, क्योंकि ये सरकारी स्लॉटर हाउस हैं जो भी बंद पड़े हुए हैं. ये स्लॉटर हाउस सरकारी हैं. अब एक बहुत गौर से सुनिएगा, बहुत बड़ी बात बताने जा रहा हूं. 8/3/2017 काउंटिंग के 3 दिन पहले, उत्तर प्रदेश चुनाव के काउंटिंग के 3 दिन पहले परियोजना प्रबंधक नगर निगम साहब आरबी इंटरप्राइजेस ज्वाइंट वेंचर एंड मेसर्स मीटेक फूड प्राइवेट लिमिटेड को एक लेटर साइन करते हैं उनके साथ और लिखते हैं कि जो स्लॉटर हाउस है इसको 18 महीने में तैयार करके दीजिए और ये हमारा आपका एग्रीमेंट होता है। 13 से 14, 14 से 15, 15 से 16, 16 से 17, 4 साल के बाद उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार बिना लाइसेंस के चलाती रही, लोग गोश्त खाते रहे। 4 साल तक नगर निगम ने वहां पर्ची नहीं काटी, डॉक्टर साहब ने गोश्त चेक नहीं किया, खराब आया, अच्छा आया, सड़ा जानवर काटा गया, बीमार जानवर काटा गया। उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार ने लोगों के स्वास्थ्य से खिलवाड़ किया और आजादी के बाद से लेकर 2012 तक जो ईमानदारी से और वैध तरीके से कारोबार चलाया जाता था, उस कारोबार को उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार ने पता नहीं किस साजिश के तहत अवैध घोषित कर दिया।
राइट, जीवीएल
बहुत गौर से समझिएगा मेरी बात।
जी आसिम वकार, देखिए मेरे पास समय आज बहुत कम है सर, इसलिए आपको आपकी बात जल्दी जल्दी करनी पड़ेगी। मैं आपको काट टोकना नहीं चाहता हूँ, आपने अपनी बात रखी है। चलिए तारिक सिद्दीकी को पूछते हैं एंड देन जीवीएल अलाउ तारिक टू कम इन। ही इज नॉट कमिंग टू द डिबेट एट ऑल। एटलीस्ट वन ओपनिंग कमेंट फ्रॉम यस तारिक सिद्दीकी।
सर मैं सिर्फ एक बात और कहना चाहता हूं।
मैं आता हूं वापस आपके पास लौट के।
पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश
प्रक्रिया तो कर ले, 20 मिनट हो गए मेरे पास है नहीं।
आप दोबारा मत आइए, आज दोबारा मत आइएगा, आज दोबारा मत आइएगा,
आपके बगल आपके
दोबारा मत आइए।
तारिक सिद्दीकी हैं आपके बगल में बैठे, उन्हें बोलने दीजिए। चलिए प्लीज।
सर मैं उन्हीं से पूछ रहा हूँ, सर मैं उन्हीं से पूछ रहा हूँ, दोबारा मेरे पास ना आइएगा।
पता है आपकी बात,
मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ, ये लाखों लोग, सर लाखों लोग जो बेरोजगार हुए हैं जी, जो बेरोजगार हुए हैं लाखों लोग। देखिए गोश्त बंद नहीं होगा। हमारे क्या लखनऊ में कुर्सी रोड पर एक स्लॉटर हाउस चल रहा है, बाराबंकी में चल रहा है।
ठीक है, आपने बेरोजगारी का भी मुद्दा,
ना कोई दुकान बंद होगी ना दुकान।
टुडे आई रियली हैव लेस टाइम।
लेकिन जो लोग स्लॉटर हाउस में काम करते हैं,
प्लीज आई डोंट वांट टू इंटरप्ट यू, प्लीज कोऑपरेट विद मी।
इंतजाम कौन करेगा?
लेट्स हैव अ मीनिंगफुल डिबेट। आई वांट एवरीबॉडी टू गेट देयर वर्ड इन, प्लीज। यस तारिक सिद्दीकी। या
Asim Mukherjee was a very part of the party till before 8th of March. I would have appreciated if he would have asked the same question with his government in those times. Point number 1. Point number 2, the debate is not for legal and illegal slaughterhouse at all. Basically what NGT and Pollution Board wanted to regularize certain norms for hygiene, for treatment of the effluent, which was a job of the corporation. Most of the corporation in Uttar Pradesh itself was headed by the BJP mayor, most of them, including Lucknow. 600 license requests have been applied, none of them were granted. It was job of a corporation.
This is so convenient. This is so convenient, Tareq.
Slaughterhouses, 140 in Uttar Pradesh.
If there is bijli in Uttar Pradesh, it is the state's. It is because of the state. If there is growth in Uttar Pradesh, it is because of the state. But if there is anything wrong, it is either because of the center or because of the civic body. This is very convenient because I am given to understand.
Everybody time. If you can allow me 1 or 2 minutes to me also.
Yogi now.
I am saying very different.
Yeah.
The mayor was of the BJP mayor in Lucknow. All these things were handled legally so far. If it was legal today, how it has become illegal and vice versa?
Sure. After you finish.
And vice versa.
Allow me to.
No, it's not. No, what I am saying, there are 55,000 shops.
Allow me to make one point.
Sabha, give me a minute.
Allow me to make one point to the secular party.
I am asking the question of Uttar Pradesh government, whether legally today in the name of Buffalo, the mutton shop people are scared. The chicken
why should they be scared? If their businesses are legitimate, why should they be scared? Who's scaring them? Who's instilling fear in them? Crackdown is happening on a certain kind of meat and a certain set of slaughterhouses just to check if they're legal or illegal. If they are shutting shops, they are doing it of their own. I will not agree. I will not agree with this argument, sir.
Action government of Uttar Pradesh has taken.
And the other thing is,
can I?
No. The other thing is, this notice.
They are taking. There's a loose direction. There's a very loose direction from government.
And I'll tell you one more thing. This notice has got acts which are about 24 different acts.
I want to say one thing to all of them.
Before I go to GVL. Yes, Sabha.
Impact on a vegetable prices.
No.
This has been done. No.
Tareq, please put your hands up and say Samajwadi Party is equally responsible for the mess that is Uttar Pradesh.
Beyond parties,
yes,
I don't care. I would say if licenses were, I have no reason to disbelieve what Wasim Bhai has said on this program. It suggests to me quite clearly they don't give licenses because bribes are involved in licenses. Let me be very clear, beyond parties, I'm not going to get into any party. We all recognize the system, I'm sure everybody does. The question now that the government in Uttar Pradesh must show some compassion to the working class people in those who are going to lose jobs and livelihood. We look at it, yes, we need to have enforced pollution norms, but to do this in this very sudden manner to people, you must acknowledge it's caused shock. I have no doubt that all governments, you keep one license for that, you do one thing for that, you do one thing, and they're all covering their tracks. There's no doubt about that. So you have left people in a lurch, and right now you do have a situation where people are going to lose their jobs. Give them some time, find some alternatives. And I don't have the answer to this as yet. I've been trying to understand, is that the big mechanized abattoirs who are exporting meat outside India, even they have been shut down.
No. See, I'll tell you what. I have a copy of this letter. I have a copy of the notice that's been sent out. GVL. Now, I have to... no, Sabha, please understand. This is dated 24th March 2017. And the Vishay, the subject matter itself says, दुधारू पशुओं के अवैध वध एवं उनके अनधिकृत परिवहन पर अंकुश लगाने के संबंध में. That is a header for this notice that's been sent out to the police and instruction that's been sent out. It's not saying that we're going to shut down everything. It's cracked down only on livestock, that is buffalo, cow, and what is illegal? Illegal trafficking, that is movement from one city to the other. That's what I'm also asking, Tarek. I'm also asking the same thing. I don't know why these meat shop owners want to go on a strike. I don't know why the mutton guys are shutting shop. I don't know, because they are alleging harassment, but perhaps they have their businesses which are not legal. Perhaps they have not given their due taxes. Perhaps they have not got their books in order. Perhaps they are worried that it will all come to the fore. And if that's the case, then they should come. They should be worried, because if they're running a business without accounting, without paying the proper duties and levies, and without showing their books of accounts, then they're wrong, sir. They cannot thrive on a business like that and rob the state of its taxes. Sir, Tarek, I've got a very clearly, I've also got that most of these guys, most of these kebab joints are sourcing their meat from illegal slaughterhouses or unaccounted for slaughterhouses, only because they get their meat at cheaper cost, at half the cost. And if that's the case, then it's not a legitimate business, sir. Through these 3 minutes, I have just taken time to peruse what's in Hindi, this notice that was sent out. And very clearly, GVL Narasimha Rao, as I come across to you, this notice issued on the 23rd, 24th of March does not talk about shutting down any slaughterhouse. It talks about illegal operations in slaughterhouses. It talks about unauthorized culling of animals, especially milk-giving livestock, so buffalo and cow, if it happens anywhere. That is what this talks about. It also talks about trafficking. It also talks about transport, overloading of livestock in trucks, which is happening rampantly. It also says that this should be avoided so that it does not spoil the law and order situation, so that it does not create any issue of communal disharmony. So let's implement the laws that are in place. That's what this notice says. And I'm going to read this passage after GVL speaks. Yes, GVL.
No, Anand, Anand, there is a rampant problem of theft of animals also reported from large parts of western Uttar Pradesh, and those animals are slaughtered in illegal slaughterhouses. But let's look at this in a systematic manner. I think these noisy debates are not going to inform the people. I would appeal to you also to report from the NGT order, National Green Tribunal order of 2015, where it was clearly stated by the court, by the Green Tribunal, that only one out of 126 slaughterhouses in Uttar Pradesh have any license, and all others they pollute with impunity. And the kind of environmental risk that they carry, the carcasses are actually let out in the drains, causing severe health hazard. there is blood that is let into the ground. There is no way fumes can actually be properly let out. As a result, you go just, I think, 50 kilometers from Delhi into Western UP.
I'm not disputing all this,
you cannot bear the smell.
Sir,
you cannot bear the smell sitting in your closed car for several kilometers.
Because I am not disputing the points that you raised, but this is not the only industry that pollutes. The entire tie and dye industry does. There is a cottage that textile industry does.
So if there are others, let us look at them as well.
One particular business.
Molasses, if you cross that road, you'll find a kilometer.
No, but then
you cannot single out one particular business. I am not disputing the NGT order, sir. I'm not. Sir, what I'm trying to say right now, is that this perception that's being created that you're being selective in your choices. You're being selective, you're just going after the slaughterhouses because you have a political agenda. So that's the argument.
We are not against kebabs. We are not against meat. Individual food habits, their government has no role, no business to intervene in individual food habits. We will not come in the way, but we want the law of the land to prevail.
Correct. My question
we want illegality to be curbed.
Sir, I am reading this notice. I am reading this notice and I am saying that there is misinformation that's being spread. When I read this notice very clearly, Tariq Siddiqui, Syed Asim Waqar, Devashish Jararia and Sabah Naqvi, when this notice, I am reading this notice, there is nothing which says that we're going to crack down on mutton shops, we're going to crack down on chicken shops, they don't need to down their shutters. Because what this notice says, and just allow me just 30 seconds please before I come to you, our panelists. प्रदेश में दुधारू पशुओं के अनाधिकृत परिवहन तथा अवैध वध की गतिविधियों पर पूर्णत रोक लगाना उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार की शीघ्र प्राथमिकता है। दुधारू पशुओं के वध को लेकर कभी-कभी ये घटनाएं, ऐसी घटनाएं बृहद रूप ले लेती हैं जिनसे कानून एवं शांति व्यवस्था तथा सांप्रदायिक सौहार्द बिगड़ने की संभावना बन जाती है। इस संबंध में दुधारू पशुओं के अवैध वध एवं उनके अनाधिकृत परिवहन को लेकर तथा पशु वधशालाओं में अवैध रूप से हो रहे पशु वध को रोके जाने के संबंध में पूर्व में भी दिशा निर्देश निर्वाह किए गए हैं। एंड देन ही quotes all the acts. It just quotes all the acts and then goes on to say, just go ahead and make sure that people don't use illegal methods and don't have illegal businesses, and also quotes the Motor Vehicles Act here, saying overloading of livestock in trucks. If this is all rampant, let's just stop it. So let's do the business in the right way, in the legal way. That's all is being said. So there is no reason for these meat and mutton shops to close down. My question to you, Tariq Siddiqui, is how is it that in Agra itself there are, according to a newspaper report, 1,000 meat shops in Agra, but only 239 have licenses? And everybody turns a blind eye to this when this is rampant? You have problems when Yogi Adityanath and his government want to crack down on what's wrong, but you have no answers and accountability for how did it get so wrong.
No, what I am saying is different. I do not have any problem what you have read it out. It's a very good thing. But then because of this, while implementing this, authorities have gone ahead and they have created a fear among the people. And today 100% mutton shops are closed. I am asking one question with GVL again. Where was it written to implement this order? 3 shops have been ablaze in Hathras.
When it's implemented.
See, to establish,
don't try to hide behind law. You never implemented law. Law will be implemented. It will be fearsome for people who don't follow law.
Some action should have taken on this Hathras Khan.
How can you keep on harping that law will make them? They will be afraid. They should be afraid of law.
Stopping everything.
You cannot have a lawless society like SB had.
No, my point is that
banning.
Yes, Devashish.
So this is what I'm saying.
Actually, what is there, sir? If you see real estate, 90% of the colonies are illegal.
Exactly, I'm asking.
90% of the colonies are illegal. So, BJP is now going to say that destroy all the houses who are living in there.
Now, my point is, Devashish, you can draw tangents this way, you can draw tangents that way.
This is very petty.
Right. That is way of politics. You can do a constructive politics also.
In opposition does not make you irresponsible.
Talking about businesses that are running running rampant and paying
you cannot make.
Let me make a small comment.
Because
you are covering only small section of the
people like you and me.
This is a small section of the discussion.
This is people. This is food that is consumed by all sections of society, depending upon their preference. Okay,
who is indulged? Which section of the society is indulged in this business?
Sir, this is an unaccounted for business. This is an unaccounted for business running into crores. Outside of the exports,
कौन से section of the society है जो involved है? आप देखोगे कि marginalized section, OBCs,
how many of these shops and slaughterhouses are actually declaring their income? How many of these Muslims are involved in this section? How many of these slaughterhouses are actually accounting for the livestock that they cull? Sir, they are not accountable. And that's the fear, that they will be made accountable. That is why I am calling the government a narrow argument.
They have to stop
tomorrow. Very narrow argument. This strike tomorrow is just a stunt, because if they have legitimate businesses, they've got no business, they've got no reason to strike.
So street vendors also doesn't have any legitimate business.
Correct.
Crack down them.
Correct. So crack down. You should have done it. You should have done it.
Labor भी कोई law नहीं है.
Other right.
You should have done it. Why didn't you do it?
One wrong doesn't make other right.
Had you put a procedure in place, this wouldn't have happened. I am asking the BSP to say the same thing. Last 10 days, 10 years, what did you do? You just turned a blind eye to everything.
BJP को सर यही तो करना है.
You just turned a blind eye to everything. Had you created commercial kiosks, had you given away hawker licenses, had you made sure that every block has a community center where hawkers can pitch their tents and they can sell their wares, and had you done it, had you organized it, you could have done it. You were busy building stone pillars. That's what was true. That's the truth. Now, when I say that, you will feel bad, Devashi Jarari, as a BSP. What happened in Uttar Pradesh over the last 10 years?
They said Hindu
you are turning around and crying about it now. Crack down on an illegal business. That's my question,
Do constructive politics.
So what are you doing?
Because SP was totally based on illegal business all through their tenure.
Anand, can I reply?
They supported all kind of illegal activities.
Sir, it is fair to ask of the government, it is very fair to ask of the BJP that you have to be responsible for the livelihoods that could be lost. But you have to also turn around and ask these people, were you earning your livelihood by means that were below, that were not in the books? Were you running businesses worth crores, earning profits worth lakhs, without paying a single naya paisa in taxes? If that's the case, sir, then they need to be cracked down upon, and they should be worried. Sabanakwi.
So Anand, I would agree with you, Anand, that most businesses in Uttar Pradesh, being informal, do run which are above the books. So if you're going to have a transformation in all polluting industry, I respect the National Green Tribunal thoroughly. I mean, they had also asked Sri Ravi Shankar to pay a 5 crore fine. I think everybody should follow whatever they're saying. Do it in a way which is gentle, because we're talking about millions of jobs here. And I want to just reply to the issue of cultural sensitivity. I entirely agree with you, and nobody is talking about cow, but buffalo is allowed in Uttar Pradesh, which is what these abattoirs which exported the meat were dealing with buffalo. It is not illegal, buffalo.
No, it's not. Buffalo is not illegal. Nobody is saying buffalo is illegal. But to cull buffalo and to run a slaughterhouse without the proper licenses and without even paying taxes and declaring, that is wrong. That is wrong. And
Anand, what license?
That's a welcome stand from Sabha.
Everything in UP. Please be clear about that.
That's a welcome stand from Sabha.
That's why I think Rahul Ishwar made a point. There is an issue here. There are cultural sensitivities involved here. But beyond that, it's basically a question of jobs. And if you're going to bring about these kind of transformations, have some consultation with people, allow the industry to make the necessary changes instead of just shutting them down. Do it.
They are not shutting them down. They are not shutting them down. But the point is, if there is an illegal business that's running,
one addition to what Sabha said.
My point is
just one addition to what she said.
Rahul Ishwar, final comment. Way over time.
There is cultural implication. There is financial implication.
Yeah, Rahul Ishwar. Yeah.
There is a cultural implication, there is a financial implication, and for God's sake, let us not be politically correct. Let us understand the complexity of issue, and as Sabha Naqvi rightly said, millions of people will be affected. We need to have some kind of a plan for them. There should be consensus, and we should find a balancing middle ground.
Let's ask the BSP, the Samajwadi Party, let's ask them to draw up the plan, sir. So let's ask them to draw up the plan as responsible opposition who are in government and who turned a blind eye and did not bother that tomorrow if there is somebody who comes down and cracks down on these people, what will happen to their livelihood? They can sit and cry foul and say, draw up a plan. Sir, where was your plan when these people got into these businesses and thrived for over decades come in? My point, sir, is that if these guys, if tomorrow the meat sellers go down their shutters, we should go across and question each of these people, be it chicken shops, mutton shops, why are they shutting down their business? Are they afraid of accountability? Are they afraid that they will have to come into the books and they will have to start paying taxes?
They are not afraid of the accountability.
Because they are not being cracked down upon. They are not being cracked down upon. So let's not allow this fear psychosis to
on papers the things are different, but on the ground the things are different.
This fear mongering at all. Those articles which claim that their businesses will be shut is wrong. As long as your books are right, you're paying your taxes and you've got your licenses, you've got nothing to worry about, because this notice does not talk about anything but saying let's stop what's wrong. It doesn't even talk about mechanized slaughterhouses. It doesn't. This notice does not. At least whatever little Hindi I know,
sir,
whatever I have read
on grounds are different.
Keep away from such farcical controversies.
So let's set the argument to rest. We'll see how it goes on. We'll see how it goes on, and let's see who spins what narrative tomorrow and whether or not this strike happens. It should not. If it does, then we'll call their bluff too. And we'll continue to ask the BJP the questions. Yogi Adityanath, if he's cracking down on what's wrong, we welcome it. But if he's harassing those who are doing the right businesses, then we'll question them too. I'm sure Divil Narasimha Rao will be present to answer.
What about marginalized people?
To the lady and gentlemen, I have to wind up.
Crime as usual.
Absolutely.
Hathras incident has to be arrested by the government of Uttar Pradesh.
I know this is a good talking point. I wish we were debating this on the weekdays. We will perhaps do it. Then we'll all have more time. I don't have time because of Sunday edition. Sabha Naqvi and to all our panelists, thank you very much. I have to wind up. Thank you.